Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. Got some breaking news for you. Flynn is in the news today. And the first article, I got two of them for you. First one says, well, it's off of MSN. To investigators about Russia trip, House Democrat. Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn appears to have lied to security clearance investigators by telling them he was paid by U.S. companies when he traveled to Russia in December of 2015, released Monday by the ranking Democrat on the House Oversight Committee. The Oversight Committee has in our possession documents that appear to indicate that General Flynn lied to the investigators who interviewed him in 2016 security clearance renewal, said Representative Elijah Cummings of Maryland in a letter to committee chairman Jason Chavez, Republican of Utah. Specifically, the committee has obtained a report of investigation dated March the 14th of 2016, showing that General Flynn told security clearance investigators that he was paid by U.S. companies when he traveled to Moscow in December of 2015 with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The actual source of the fund for General Flynn's trip was not a U.S. company, but the Russian media propaganda arm, RT. Separately, a U.S. official with direct knowledge told NBC News that during the same 2016 renewal process, Flynn left blank a line on his security clearance form asking him to disclose any business relationships or transactions with foreign entities. It was a lie of omission, the official said. The revelations appear to confirm that Flynn did not properly disclose his receipt of payment from a foreign adversary of the United States when he was being re-examined for his security clearance between January and April of 2016. Flynn is also under investigation by the Defense Department over whether he should have sought for the RT fee, since retired generals are usually prohibited from accepting foreign payments under the emollients clause of the U.S. Constitution. Whether Flynn was properly vetted of National Security Advisor, has repeatedly pointed to the extension of Flynn's security clearance during the Obama administration. Multiple sources have told NBC News that Flynn never passed the separate, more stringent vetting that is normally done for somebody with access to the nation's deepest secrets when he was tapped as National Security Advisor. Flynn, who was fired by the Obama administration in 2014 as director of the Defense Intelligence Agency, was paid nearly $34,000 for speaking at the Moscow dinner. He was paid under a $45,000 contract between his Speaker's Bureau and RT, a Russian state media arm. He received nearly $34,000, not including accommodations and travel, records show. In July of 2016, Flynn was interviewed by the Washington Post Diana Priest, who asked him about the RT appearance. I was asked by my Speaker's Bureau, LAI. I do public speaking. It was in Russia. It was paid speaking opportunity. The Speaker's Bureau got paid so much based on our contract. He declined to say how much, but added that the gig was to do an interview with RT correspondent Sophie Chervendez. It was an interview in front of the forum, probably 200 people in the audience. My purpose there was I was asked to talk about radical Islam in the Middle East. They asked me to talk about what was going on in the situation unfolding in the Middle East. Asked why he would appear on Russian state media, Flynn said, well, what's CNN? Priest replied, well, it's not run by the state. You're rolling your eyes. Flynn said, well, what's MSNBC? I mean, come on. What's Al Jazeera? What's Sky News Arabia? I have been asked by multiple organizations to be a paid contributor, but I don't want to be. And that is that article. Now, the second one that I have here is in, and it says letter. Flynn cites public frenzy, invokes the Fifth Amendment. And there is some video in this one if you want to pull it up. I don't have it in the description right now, but as soon as I get off the air, I'll put it on there. This is off the Washington AP, and it says President Donald Trump's former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn invoked his constitutional right against self-incrimination on Monday and declined to hand over documents sought under subpoena by Senate panel investigating Russia's meddling in the 2016 election. To the Senate Intelligence Committee, Flynn's attorneys justified the decision by citing an escalating public frenzy against him and saying the Justice Department's recent appointment of a special counsel has created a legally dangerous environment for him to cooperate with the panel's investigation. The context in which the committee has called for General Flynn's testimonial production of documents makes clear that he has more than a reasonable apprehension that any testimony he provides could be used against him, the attorneys wrote in a letter which was obtained by the AP. To cooperate with the Senate committee represents a new legal complication for the expanding government and congressional inquiries into Russian interference in the presidential campaign and contacts between Trump's advisors and Russian officials and representatives. Flynn is a key figure in both the FBI investigation headed by the special counsel Robert Mueller in separate Senate and House inquiries. Trump appointed Flynn, a retired U.S. Army lieutenant general and top military intelligence chief, as his top national security aide in January, only to fire him less than a month later. The White House said that Flynn had misled top officials, including Vice President Mike Pence, about his contacts with Russian officials, including to the U.S. The Senate committee subpoena to Flynn dealt heavily with his interactions with Russian officials. It asked for a wide range of information and documents about his and the Trump campaign's contacts with Russia, dating back to June of 2015. Flynn's letter to the Senate committee stressed that his decision to invoke his constitutional protection is not an admission of wrongdoing, but rather a response to the current political climate in which the Democratic members of Congress are calling for his prosecution. Even truthful responses of an innocent witness can give the government ammunition that could be used against Flynn, quoting a 2001 Supreme Court ruling. Legal experts said that Flynn was unlikely to turn over the documents without a grant of immunity because doing so might compel him to waive some of his constitutional protections. The attorneys noted that if Flynn complied with the committee's request, he could be confirming the existence of documents, an act that itself could be used against him. Trump himself walked back into the Russian controversy during his visit to Israel after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, standing beside him, was asked Monday if he had any concerns about the intelligence sharing with the U.S. After Netanyahu responded, he said the cooperation was terrific. Trump volunteered that he never mentioned the word or the name Israel during his recent Oval Office conversation with top Russian diplomats. That comment referred to revelations that he divulged classified information about an Islamic State threat in his May 10th meeting in the Oval Office with Russian Foreign Minister and Ambassador. The officials have said the information originated with Israel. However, it has not been alleged that Trump told the Russians that Israel was the source. Trump has defended Flynn since his ouster and called on him to strike an immunity deal because Flynn is facing a witch hunt. The president's comments are in stark contrast to his harsh words during the 2016 campaign for people who received immunity or invoked the Fifth Amendment in the probe for former Secretary of State Clinton's use of private email server. You see, the mob takes the Fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment? Trump said during a September campaign rally in Iowa. On Monday, GOP supporters, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie told reporters during a news conference in Trenton that he had expressed concerns about Flynn during the presidential transition. Elected to the United States, I wouldn't let General Flynn in the White House, Christie said. Flynn's decision does not fully close the door on future cooperation with the committee. Attorney Robert Kellner said in March that Flynn wants to tell his story should the circumstances permit. He noted it would be unreasonable for Flynn to agree to be questioned by the committee without assurances against unfair prosecution. Flynn's letter comes less than 2 weeks after the committee issued a subpoena for his documents as part of its ongoing investigation into possible collusion between Russia and Trump's campaign. In addition to the Senate investigation, Flynn is also being investigated by other congressional committees, as well as the ongoing FBI counterintelligence probe and a separate federal criminal investigation in Northern Virginia. Washington lawyer Nina Ginsburg, who has extensive national security law experience, said that if Flynn turned over any personal records in response to the committee's subpoena, he would waive his Fifth Amendment rights regarding these documents about them. Ginsburg also noted that the committee faces new complications from the Justice Department's move last week to appoint Mueller as special counsel in the Russia inquiry. If the Intelligence Committee wants to give Flynn immunity, it will likely have to enter into discussions with Mueller to determine whether the move could impede the FBI's case. Lawmakers of the other key congressional committees are pledging a full public airing as to why former FBI Director James Comey was ousted amid the intensifying investigations into the Russian interference with the U.S. election. In a Sunday TV appearance, both Republican and Democratic lawmakers said they will press Comey in hearings as to whether he felt that Trump tried to interfere with the FBI work. Some lawmakers are insisting on seeing any White House or FBI documents that detail conversations between the two, following a spate of news reports that Comey had kept careful records. Comey was fired by Trump earlier this month. The former FBI director agreed to testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee after Memorial Day holiday. Former CIA Director John Brennan is to testify in open and closed hearings Tuesday before the House Intelligence Committee, which is conducting its own investigation. So there you have everything that I know on this Flynn deal right now. If you like what I'm doing, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that, and that way you'll stay informed. Have a great day.